in the shadows.
Ooh. They seem to be sort of doing a mock round there. Oh, no, okay. Maybe we're not
live.
Yeah. But are we now live? That's the question. I'm assuming not, but...
No, well, they're asking for the admin, and I have no idea what the hell is going on. I mean, we've already had enough issues with CSGO Lounge. If the admin's also asleep, then this is going to get sad really quickly.
Yeah, I mean, they could always just play the games, and we can sort of bear witness if the admin is AFK. You know, say, hold up our hands and say, yes, this game did actually happen as it appears. Apparently, German broadcasting has some issues, so clearly with a superior stream.
Yeah, this you know, look, you know me, Spud. I real talk on stream a lot, and sometimes it gets me in trouble. But it's who I am. If the stream is not ready, and the teams should be allowed to start, especially if it's 25 minutes over. There's been more than enough time for that other stream to get their stuff sorted out. I'm sorry, but like that's unbelievable to me. So now the players are likely going to have a 30-minute delay because another stream wasn't able to get ready in time.
Yeah.
What the actual hell is that all about?
It's kind of sad when that happens, and yeah, it always depends. Like there's an extent to which the players have to be beholden to the streams, because the only reason the tournament happens is because the streams happen. You know, it wouldn't be worth running without the stream, and to an extent I have to disagree with you and say that sometimes the players have to wait, but at the same time you really have to make sure that you're not abusing that relationship and make sure you're not messing them about by delaying it and delaying it and delaying it and delaying it.
I think I agree with what you're saying, but when it gets to 30 minutes, that's too much. Like if we're talking 15, you know, anywhere up to 15 minutes, then fair play. But at 30, that's just ridiculous. And the guys, and the other thing as well, you have to take into account is these guys are going to have multiple games tonight, and so one delay could effectively delay all the rest of their games, which also affects the other teams involved and other streams as well. So if you're getting towards 30 minutes, then you really have to have stuff sorted out or just bow out of it, as far as I'm concerned. But, you know, it seems the players are kind of fighting their own battles right now in their own corner. So we're just going to have to see when this goes live.
Yeah, I do notice we have 4 viewers now on the GoTV, so that might
Lovely.
be a good sign. It's improved from 3. The trend is upwards.
Dude, we'll be rolling in millions of viewers at this rate.
I know, right?
In about 10,000 years.
It's like that old XKCD comic, right? Where okay, do you know what XKCD? You must know what XKCD is, right? Like really lame, like stick figure drawings, but it's quite clever.
No.
No. You should look it up. It's quite like sometimes the jokes are just too much, too intellectual, and then they just get lost up their own arse. But like. It can also have some really good ones, and sometimes it also does like really interesting statistics and stuff. There's an old comic about like the dangers of extrapolation, and it's like a guy saying to another person, I think it's something like this. I can't really remember the comic that well, which is gonna make it not come out quite right, but regardless, he says, finally getting to the central point of his point. Basically, it's a wife that's just gotten married saying, well, based on, you know, past trends, I'm going to need at least 6 cakes by the end, 6 wedding cakes by the end of the week. There. That took a lot longer than it was worth. I will hold my hands up. Had I known how that story was going to go, I would not have gone there. But we live with our mistakes.
I just want to say a couple of things to you guys in chat. Like, we're filling in time and talking about random stuff because we've been waiting here for half an hour for a game to start. Like, we can't really go in depth about analysis before a game begins. There's very little to talk about before this matchup, honestly. So you're just gonna have to bear with us, guys. We're waiting on the German stream. We're waiting for delays to come to a close so we can jump live and we can jump into the action. Trust me, we're as wanting this to go live as possible, and I think we're about to jump into the knife round, Spud.
Yes, I believe so. We did get the message in the console saying you may start the game, and the knife round is is presumably starting up here. So, yeah, we will see how this one goes. HellRaisers. Okay, I want to call strats here. Ooh, Adrian getting the sneaky stuff, getting the sneaky slice in.
I'm trying to figure out if LeMaze is Rollin or not. It should be Rollin, but he hasn't tagged up.
Well, Rollin's above. Look, on his
sorry,
in the first slot.
Right, got you. I couldn't see it because the money's over the top of it. So let me just try and figure out who that is.
Alright, well, doesn't really matter. Looks like knife round is going to come down to Angel against the World, and the World has backstabbed him. So,
Spiro,
a metaphor for real life. Right there. Tragic.
I think it's Spiro, but he hasn't tagged up.
I'm going to probably end up calling him LeMaze.
This is the problem you see as well if you don't tag up, because you call him Spiro because that is the 5th player of Gamers2, and on HLTV it's expected to be Spiro, and then it'll be someone will be like, "That's not Spiro, you noobs. He's actually that name." So
he's actually Smiths in disguise.
Yes, he's Smiths. Confirmed. Which would make no sense. Smiths,
Epsilon female.
Smith's a French player jumping in for a Polish team. I'm not sure how that would translate.
Yeah. I mean, we do occasionally see, like, really top-flight players just saying, "Lol, I'll sub in for this one," but we're actually on to the pistol round now, so possibly time to start being a little more real, bit more serious, as HellRaisers certainly be getting quite a lot of control, but losing players to headshots across the board, they're going to have to make something happen here as they push now onto the site, going into jungle as well. But they're trading 1 for 1 here, and it doesn't look like it's going to go too well for them. The last man, Kucha, goes down.
Yep, HellRaisers just got overrun, to be fair. There's not too much that you can talk about analytically, because it's just a case of the better aim reigning supreme. And of course, with that, HellRaisers now have a choice. They can either go for a full eco, they can force a buy. Adrian seems to be going for a force buy. Kucha has also gone for one, and they've got the scout. This is fairly standard in Counter-Strike right now. If you can ping someone's head with that scout, it gives you a huge advantage. You can pick up a weapon and then try and clutch the round.
Yeah, doubly so on Mirage, because you can just sit mid, hop up and down, and hope to get that shot in. Now, are they going to be able to get anything done? Again, HellRaisers do seem to have gotten themselves control of mid. Is that going to be a major factor for them here?
Oh, absolutely. Mid's a huge, crucial part of Mirage. So if you control mid, typically it gives you more options, but they seem to be dropping like flies anyway.
Yeah, they're going to be pushing in. Dosia jumps across, gets the first. Adrian about to push in, and the reload is actually on, but these gets away with it. Lazo is actually possibly, we're very, very close to peeking over there into Kucha's sights, but not going to happen this time. He's going to try for some shots over the wall, but finds Verizon.
I'm not sure about you, but my mini-map is bugging, so when I press C, I don't see any players there. Is that the same for you as well?
Yeah, and do you know what else? I've also got a weird thing where, like, the dots are spawning when the map isn't up.
Yeah,
on random places of the screen.
I also have no mini-map, so I'm going to reconnect quickly, Spud, so just take this away, dude.
Alright, well, let's keep an eye on what's going on. What's going on right now is Dosia is not going to be going on in this round any further. Of course, this is your comeuppance for going pistol, and armor is that you now have no money at all, and you have to go with the Glock train, which hasn't worked out so well so far. They do manage to get themselves one kill on Innocent, and got a bit of positioning. They do have the rifle, the Mizo as well, getting a little bit caught out, but again, Glocks, they just don't penetrate armor.
They have very poor armor penetration, as you say. That did work as well, Spud, so you might want to do the same yourself if you're having issues there, dude.
I will do.
I'll take away this round. Just give me a shout when you're back. But yeah, Gamers2 with a 3-0. As Spud said there before as well, of course, if you force buy on the first round and you try and roll the dice and it comes up with Snake Eyes, you are in all sorts of trouble. And it will be the 3-0. That's where the position that we find ourselves in right now. HellRaisers have picked themselves up some assault rifles, have a few smokes to play with as well, so that's going to give them more options coming into these sites. And they've got the entry frag. Make that 2. Mouse goes on to Spiro. And with those 2 opening picks of tees, that should allow them to now maneuver themselves into a position where it should be the 3 or 4 versus 1 situation, because Innocent will now start to move towards mid from jungle. He does get a frag beforehand. That could be the saving grace for the Poles, especially as Maniz on corner of Tetris does shoot HellRaisers Angel in the face. Back to a 3-on-3. Are you back yet, Spud?
I am indeed back in. So, HellRaisers look like they are circling now, moving around to A, and Innocent's actually got the wrong end of the stick as well, moving away as the push coming on to the site. Palace does contain a potentially angry Moniz, but they still haven't even heard. They're going to know in a sec.
Yeah, that's pretty much going to rally the troops, and that's one of the downsides about losing 2 players at the start. You have to start spreading yourselves out. You leave yourself very vulnerable. Moniz does get the headshot onto Ardren, but the bomb's down. This is a very difficult site to retake.
Yeah, they're going to try. Innocent starts them off, gets himself a kill on Mao. But a 1 versus 3. Can he do it? Kucha gets the first and the second. Looks for the third, but unfortunately going to have to go home empty-handed. We do actually have the name change as well there.
Yeah, Ishbiro, fortunately for us. And the thing as well, you know, I called there it's a difficult site to retake. One thing that I should have mentioned is it was a 1v3. And of course that makes it a whole lot easier. A valiant attempt at the end there from HellRaisers, but there's strength in numbers, isn't there, Spy? That's one of the main things about Counter-Strike. Generally, if you're outgunned, you get outmanned as well. And there you go, it's 4-0, and HellRaisers are able to buy up again, but they're going to have to start picking up rounds really soon.
Yeah, it is going to be very, very dangerous if they let this run away from them. The economy building up, and it looks like right now the plan is to head their way over towards apartments. They're going to get grenaded out possibly, but door goes down, and a second kill will be returned here as Kucha is going to make his way onto the site. Still 2 for 2 overall, and HellRaisers aren't really committed here. Rallen is actually going to get blindsided by Dozier, but taken out. Just was not ready for that. Hadrian. The HellRaisers are going to be moving onto the site here, but can they do anything matters?
Well, they're going to have to get this entry. They're definitely going to have to kill Rallen. If Rallen takes down these players, that's pretty much the game over, and he's in prime position to strike. As you see, bomb's been dropped, 45 seconds, and he does finish it off. And that's surprising for me. That's really surprising, but it just goes to show this is the inconsistency that I was talking about before, whereby HellRaisers, if they show up, they're just fantastic, but if they don't, they effectively get wrecked. You know, that's something we see so often with these guys.
And that seemed like really poor communication at the end there.
It
Mao just didn't even know there was a man up there, even though there was, what, 2 or 3 seconds to pass that information across. He could have even heard the shots, but
well, I think the thing is, Spud, he had a silenced M4, so it may have had some problems in that sense with communicating, but the angle that he was shot from and the stuff that he could see, so the information that he was gathering, should have called that he was obviously Shadow or top of Shadow. I mean, that's a given right now. Nico Bash comes into effect. This is easy peasy for Gamers2. It's going to be 6-0.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately there for the fans of HellRaisers, and 6-0. Oh well, now is very much the time to start getting yourself in gear if you're HellRaisers. With that AWP, I'd reckon they're going for the mid control. Is that what you think they'll be going for here?
I would say so. I mean, we've seen already that they do opt for that mid quite often because it does open up another 2 additional ways to push in. In fact, 3 if you count the boost up into window. You've got connector and short, so it is really important. And this is where smokes come into huge play as well. So HellRaisers, they're going to need to pick up this round. There's no 2 ways about it. If they go 7-0 down, I don't want to say the game's over, but it's really difficult to come back from that deficit.
Yeah, really, really difficult. And Mao going down in a straight AWP battle. That's a huge problem. Angel going to be speaking out here. We'll see the first kill for HellRaisers this round. But they said map. That would have been really bad performance. But this round, definitely struggling though. Clearly they're signaling they're going A. So I guess they just didn't think they had any chance of getting in on the B side.
Yeah, they're playing mind games as well with Gamers2. You know, a 1-for-1 trade typically favours the Ts because it spreads the CTs further out, and because CT is more expensive to buy up on because of defuse kits and just generally. So HellRaisers should be in a good position, but they've only rested themselves 30 seconds.
Yeah, and a good shot from Minis shuts down the entry. So now, really, as you say, the time is going to play into this. Spiro comes out from jungle and finds himself the first kill as Rallen pops up over the smoke for the second. Yes, with Kucha facing the save, and is he going to be able to do it?
Well, he's playing aggressive. He's playing like passively aggressive, if that makes sense. He's trying to save, but he's trying to get exit frags. He's kind of being greedy here, I've got to say. The thing is, though, the round loss bonus is so high for HellRaisers that they should be able to buy up most rounds here. As you can see, they've got 4,000 on a few of their players. They can get AK-47s again. Of course, they have the AWP that was saved beforehand from Kutcher. But it's 7-0. And we saw this, but you said that they're going to try mid. They did try it. They got an even trade, which is good for teasers, I mentioned before. But then they only left themselves 30 seconds to push through ramp, which is a very claustrophobic way to go. And we saw there the AWP control from back at CT side was just way too strong.
Yeah, it seems to me like Mao is being outclassed right now with his AWP. If he can get anything further done. He's just hopping on down from watching Apartments, and Innocent gets 1-4. Well, AK actually to the behind as G2 has. Wait, that's really confusing. His name is Mouse. Mouse is a team. I have a hard-coded brain that's like, don't call them by their team name. But then it's like, wait, their team name is. And okay, whatever, doesn't matter. I'm pro. Does seem like right now Dozier is going to be heading in. Does kill Mouse, and they will be now looking to try and capitalize from this. They do have the position here.
Even more confusing, he's got Mouse versus Mao. Like, what's that all about? This is insane. Although HellRaisers have taken a player advantage, 43 seconds, 2-player advantage now. And Roland, who is 8 for 3, pretty impressive stats, is in a 1 versus 3. And B is incredibly difficult to retake. I said that A is definitely easier to retake, but Roland has got that first frag.
Yeah, comparing B to A, though, could be a little bit. To be fair, it's never going to be easy to retake a site, but yeah, there's just so many places the terrorists can hide.
I mean, and it's not just a case of it being there's so many different nooks and crannies. You've got B apps, which will always favour the guy that's peeking onto bomb once it's planted. Like every single time, there's 3 separate ways you can come from just B apps, not taking into account short or anywhere else.
And then you just can't. You just can't check everywhere at once. Speaking of which, Miniz was checking Palace, and there will be a man jumping down. Spiro drops down more ways than one. But still, the 1-for-1 favours the tees.
Miniz missed an AWP shot there, which I'd have fancied him to have landed. He's been playing pretty solid so far, but yeah, it should favour the tees. The problem here is, though, that HellRaisers have got picks in the past. They have been in this identical position in the past, and they've played themselves up the round by playing way too slowly and way too fidgety. They need to cohesively push as a unit. You've got Angel all by himself on A, trying to run interference, and Roland's got past him coming round the back of the tees.
Oh, that could be a disaster in, 10, 15 seconds whenever he gets around to it. They're watching behind now, it would seem, but it could just come down to a 1v1, and if they get sandwiched, it would be a horrible, horrible situation. He is going to come around the corner now, Rallen, just as Kucha moves away, so now this is a horrible situation.
And one that could have been completely avoided as well. They do pull back a frag there, but look at this from Gamers2. Innocent and Mao's going in hard. Nice shot from Mao. 1 on 2, 13 seconds. He's got to get that bomb and plant it. I do not fancy his chances.
Yeah, this is just ridiculous requirements on Mao, and he's going to go for it. He's going to try and get the plant down. Innocent banks around the corner. Yeah, and now what do they do?
I mean, that was all on the play that I highlighted there. Roland got round to T-spawn. You had Angel in ramp doing nothing there. There's a smoke down. And this is what I'm talking about. You have to push together as a well-oiled machine. If you're going to go on B, have all 4 players. There is no point having a lurker in ramp. That's pretty much the opposite side of the map to B. And it's not easy to move into position from there. Mind blown.
Yeah, it's like, if they're going to rotate, they're not exactly going to rotate all the way round into A round. They're going to go kitchen, or they're going to go mid to B. It's like, I don't even know. But even worse, the round loss bonus is now lost, so eco round incoming. See if they can pull out something miraculous, but not fancying your chances here, HellRaisers. They've been spotted as well, which isn't going to help. Miniz didn't find the shot. Rallen going to be finding one for his team as well. So G2 definitely in control.
Yeah, this should be a Nico Bash. It's got it written all over it right here. Okay, they do get one frag. If Adrian can get another one, they'll be relatively happy with this. But again, yes, you're getting kills. Yes, you're taking weapons, but the bank is massive, and the grenade just lands on the back of Adrian. And you nailed it on the head as well there, Spud. Round loss bonus went, and momentum went as well. The wind was well and truly out of their sails there. And it's just sad times for HellRaisers. When you're kind of 7-8-0 behind and you win a round, you have to keep that momentum going forward, or you actually end up in almost a worse position than you started.
Yeah, now this is going to be a big factor. You can tell that HellRaisers are desperately trying to grasp at rounds. They've got the Tech 9 and armor, no rifle available for Dosia, and a limited stack of grenades. But you know they feel they've got to gut those rounds as much as possible. They seem to have all the luxuries, though.
They do have a lot of time to play with, so you can't quite write them out, but such a lack of smokes, such a lack of grenades, they've got a lack of weaponry, and so far as well, they've had a lack of penetration when it's came to sights here, HellRaisers on T-side. They've not really threatened, they've not been a formidable opponent, so they're going to go for the rush instead.
Yeah, nice. An attempt at a fake anyway onto A. They've traded 1 for 1. That's 2, though, going down immediately after from Innocent. Angel does find the spray, but now it's 2 on 3. And as you mentioned, it's this lack of penetration. They aren't getting onto the site. They're not getting the bomb down. They're not forcing G2 to come onto the sites themselves. They're just spreading them out.
And this is going to sound really harsh, right? But I've got to call it like I see it. It seems to me like HellRaisers, this is very reminiscent to me of like a PUG match or matchmaking or ESCA when you're playing with random people. They don't seem to be moving together. There seems to be a real lack of communication their side as well. In these 2v2, 3v2 situations, they're almost doing their own things. It's like lone wolves going at it. And that might work in matchmaking, but you're seeing that Gamers2 are just picking them to shreds. Their aim's been better as well. In every single way, Gamers2 have been the better team here on Mirage.
Yeah, it's basically just that one round off the occasional thing, because it happens to everyone. Is you walk around the corner, you instantly get headshotted somehow because the guy didn't even know you were there but was shooting at somebody, some ridiculous circumstance like that, or just, getting quite a fortunate headshot will happen sometimes, and happens enough times in a row that gets you the round, but they've shown no qualities that are likely to get them any more. Minis, though, do take a bit of damage, but an Innocent covers, and HellRaisers lose 2.
It's just, I'm getting deja vu all the time here, Spud. HellRaisers aren't really doing anything differently. Every round they're doing the same tactics and it's just falling short because of the fact that they're forcing up at times they probably shouldn't be, and they're getting desperate for rounds as well, which is probably the reason why they're forcing. They don't have many smokes in their hands, and therefore they're just having to go for raw aim duels. And we've already seen that the Poles have been leaps and bounds ahead of their HellRaiser compadres, or compatriots I should say, and they're just decimating them on pure aim. So you're falling back to an aim duel and you're losing that as well. They have some smokes here, but they've also got 2 AWPs, which is really surprising for me.
This is kind of what we mentioned before, though, about their HellRaiser's reliance on form. Your aim is by far the most susceptible thing to just random fluctuations in how well you're playing, and if that doesn't work out for you, you're going to be in real trouble if you're a team with no strats to back it up. Now, they're going to push in through connector. They have already found themselves a pick on middle earlier on, so potentially going to be the A push. Are they actually going to go for this?
It would make a lot of sense, judging from their positions right now. The problem is, though, they've got Molotovs to fend off against. There's full HP up on all the CTs. There's Dosia. That's a really important frag. Have they called as a player in Tetris, though? This could be huge from Marlon.
Ooh, not to be. Looked away at the last second, and the guy comes around the corner. So, looking like a definite second round here for HellRaisers. I do wonder, actually, Metas, is it worth, from your perspective, is it almost worth Gamers2 just, going for this? Because they've got so much money to play with.
I would say yes, but there are still rounds coming up as well. So they may be wanting to play the safe, and playing it smart at the end of the day. Yes, they're 11-1, soon to be 11-2 up, but they want to finish this half on 13-2. Best case scenario. Ooh, there's Mao's. That's a pretty important pick as well, I've got to say, on Mao. because that's an AWP. That's $4,750 flushed down the toilet unless they can go and pick that one up. That's not a small amount of money, especially when HellRaisers have such poor economy.
Yeah, and I mean, even if you do actually manage to find the AWP, you're still going to be struggling because you're losing the AK money at the very, very least. So, yeah, not good. And it's the round loss bonus is gone, guys. Let's see if they can do anything with it.
That's the key right now. So, having a look at the scoreboard, nobody on HellRaisers. Not surprising when the score's 11 for 2. He's on a positive KDA. 7 for 12 is the highest score for Dozier. Whereas on the opposite side, Innocent's on 18 for 7, and Mini's now actually peeking through mid, eats a grenade for his troubles. Didn't actually get any information either there, Spud, other than the grenade. Didn't see anybody through that smoke.
Ooh,
what a shot.
Dozier really trying to get the team what they need. Now, HellRaisers, they're actually looking like they're not planning on sticking with this A push. Perhaps they are, actually. It's kind of hard to tell. They got one man in apartments who may well circle around behind, but regardless, Angel is going to just turn around, find Rollins, spraying blindly to no avail. Spiro pushes out and somehow finds Mao, in spite of it taking incredibly long for him to get that aim down, leaving us with a 2-on-2 here. Now, Innocent will get dropped. Dozier, seemingly the only man for HellRaisers to really put out performance here, but that struck me as very strange, Metas.
Yeah, it was a bit of a scrappy round, wasn't it? I mean, it's still not over. Mauser's already proved himself to be a real formidable opponent, and he is moving into jungle, which is the correct site. So he's called this one. Dozier and Adrian, I'm not sure if they realise this. They've got 30 seconds. They're fully committed to this site. They can't double back now onto Mirage, which does take one of the longest amount of times to rotate any of these maps in CSGO. So Mao's spidey senses were tingling, and he's got 20 seconds to fend off this 1v2 onslaught.
The 50-50 guess, and what does your opponent choose? Well, your opponent chooses to have Dozier put himself onto the positive KDA, but has it all come too little too late? Even if they win this, it's 11-4.
11-4 is not impossible to come back from going on to CT side. Of course, it's not fantastic. On Mirage, you want to get 5, 6, 7 kind of rounds. 7's a good half. 6 is pretty normal. 5's just below average. So 4 is not good. But it is salvageable. And it would give them a lot of confidence as well, because the last few rounds have gone in their favour.
Yeah, maybe Dozier is starting to get the train on the tracks, but not seemingly so far, as he's been taken out with only 2 members left now. Of course, HellRaisers really going to struggle, and that pretty much signals the death now. Mao easily flashed, easily headshotted, and Adrian is going to try. Does find himself the first. Took quite a bit of damage for his troubles, though. And, well, got a minute to play with, but the 1v3 here looking pretty dicey.
Got a minute to win it is a famous... Who actually said that? I've completely forgot now. I know it was a game show host, I used to say that a lot, but not just
actually a game show, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a game show, but I can't remember who it was that used to say that a lot. It's going to really bother me.
But it was like the game show itself was called Minute to Win It, was it?
Was it? I'm not sure.
Maybe not.
Well,
maybe I dreamed that.
Adrian had a minute to win it, but he only had like 30 health, and yeah, 3 players to find and frag. 12-3. HellRaisers are going to be feeling pretty bad right about now. I will say, though, it could have been a whole lot worse. That had 15-0 written all over it for me for a little while there.
Yeah, not great for them there. I mean, minute to win it. Possibly, though, not being entirely... Doesn't really consider all the factors, does it, really? Minute to win it. That's, what about the guy's guns? What about his skills? Unfortunately, in this case, Gamers2 going to be looking to just close this out. And if they get the pistol here, this should be pretty much it.
I would find it very difficult to see a way that HellRaisers would manage to pull this one back if Gamers2 takes the piss around. It would be an insurmountable mountain for them to climb as far as I'm concerned. But if they do take this, you know, they can get the next 2 rounds cleanly afterwards, and you're looking at a kind of 12-6 scoreline. It is possible on CT side, but here we go.
Well, they're going to be pushing onto the site. They have got the smokes down. This is looking a lot better than when HellRaisers tried something similar, but the aim, the damage is coming in. The retake is on, and nobody has died yet, so it's going to be really, really tricky here. They're going to move out, try for the kills here. Mao will, however, turn around, take those kills. Spiro now gonna get himself another one. 3 on 3, but the health bars are favoring HellRaisers. Can they get the defuse in? He's trying for it, but through the smoke, Mao will get taken down by Alan, who's now got himself 2 kills in a row. Adrian, the last man standing, looking to try and make this happen, but he knows he can play the time. Rallen is gonna get this. Gamers2, they've managed it, and he will die for his troubles, but it's damn well worth.
Huge round from Rallen. Actually got the headshot onto the defuser through smoke as well. So knew where the bomb was planted and just preemptively went for that one. Massive plays by him. And that pretty much is a massive body blow for HellRaisers as well. Not just because it's 13-3 and they lost the pistol round, but it's the way they lost that pistol round. So this is going to be down to another map, ladies and gents, as the Eco... I was about to say Eco Bash, but they actually, of course, forced this one up with scouts and pistol upgrades. It's going to be very difficult for them to fend off.
Yeah, the old concept of eco seems to be becoming much less so. It's common at the moment, but G2 will try and make something happen here. Angel, however, being dropped. Not really ideal for them. However, they are getting some damage in. Dosia, though, not going to find any more.
The problem is, if that was a full-on eco and they got 2 kills, then fair enough, that's worth. But they invested, they committed to that round, and they only got 2 kills. So it's definitely not. And the fact as well, you know, even if you're losing rounds, let's say, for example, they took 4 people down there, it's still not good enough. They haven't left themselves enough leeway. They haven't built up enough foundations for them to actually go on towards winning this map now. This map's pretty much over at this point.
Yeah, I mean, how do you win this? Kucha as well, they're getting flashed out. That's not going to help matters along. Not that he realistically stood much chance anyway. P2K, well, they managed to actually get several kills out of this somehow. I blinked and I missed it. G2 somehow are in a lot of trouble here all of a sudden. HellRaisers, can they secure any guns? Can they secure a round? That would be a lifeline in turbulent waters, but I'm a little bit doubtful here. Angel, they know where he is. He's got no armor. He's only got the P250. Denise is going to plant the bomb.
Yep, and he finds himself in a position where there's going to be crossfire down. I'm lagging out here, I think.
Well, that was anticlimactic.
Lovely. Well, it's expected. 15-3 would have been a huge round for him to pick up there. So it's going to have to be 12 rounds on the bounce just to take this into overtime. That would be pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Do you have full weapons, though?
Well, you know, not over until the fat lady sings, but it's certainly looking like she may be on the opera chart.
She's definitely been warming up for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, she's pretty much been in the waiting room since before the game started, it seems, but at the moment, HellRaisers... Be careful here. Kucha waiting in a bit of an unconventional spot there. I mean, do you see a lot of players hiding between those two, between the two stairs?
Yeah, it's not the craziest position to be in. It's called sandwich, and because a lot of people expect you to be on the stairs itself, or maybe around Tetris, you can catch people off guard. You can also watch Palace in this position where they're going to see right now and spray through. Yeah,
indeed. There's actually Adrian in dark. He does get caught out. D2 looking like they're going to be trying to close out the game here. They've started it off well as Kucha's getting taken out, but Angel gets himself 2 kills in return. 2-on-2 situation. How many times have we seen that happen? Then be trying to find that kill on Dosia, but Angel unfortunately losing the duel to Minis sort of set him up into a lose-lose situation.
And we saw both the perks and the disadvantages, the fall-off points of that position known as sandwich, which is between Tetris and the actual stairs themselves on connector. It's if you get the drop on people through smoke or even a flashbang, you can rain down hellfire on the opposition, and it's very difficult to flush you out. However, if you don't get the opening picks, you quickly become surrounded. You could see there that he was caught in like 3 different minds. Do I look at Palace? Do I look at A? Do I look at Tetris? And in doing so, he got shot from every angle and ended up dying. So it really is a hit or miss kind of position. He tried